Hey there guys, Vans here. Welcome to my level 90 Mr. Pandaria Hunter macro guide. This guide will show you everything from the beginner to advanced macros, and it will show you absolutely every single macro that I use in Arena that is helping me become that much of a better player, and what's basically letting me own it up in Arena to this point. Alright, we're going to start off with my scatter shot macros. As you guys can see right here, I have two scatter shot macros. It's a personal preference of mine that I don't use the regular scatter shot straight out of the spellbook. I like to use the mouseover and the focus. The reason I like to use the mouseover one is just for a certain game situation where I like to use it a lot for peeling. So having to target with my target arena 1 or target arena 2 or 3, I like to actually mouse over my Gladiator and do it. You might see it in some of my games in the past. Another thing I'd like to touch upon in these two macros, as you can see right here, I have two /top stop casting lines. This is because if you just have one, or if you don't have any at all, and you want to interrupt the heal if you don't have a saucing shot, and if scatter shot's the only thing you have up, and you want to use that, it's going to be preferable to have two /top casting lines, so it's a guarantee stop on your cover shot or your steady shot, so you can get that heal interrupted, and it'll just put you that much more into the game. Alright, next up is our saucing shot macros. As you can see right here, I have three. I have my mouseover, my focus, and my regular /top casting one. Once again, you guys, all three of these do have two /stop casting lines just to guarantee that interrupt on a heal or a certain damage ability from the enemy team. The reason I have a mouseover silencing shot is to hover over my Gladiator if I'm not fast enough switching to my target or focus 1, 2, or 3 macro. I'll just hover over it and stop a certain crowd control that's coming onto my healer or a damaging spell if I need to slow down some damage so we can recover from the game. On to the Roar Sacrifice macros. I actually think that these are one of the most important ones to keybind, and especially for macros directed straight toward your DPS, your healer. As you can see right here, I have four. I have a mouseover one for myself, one for my DPS, and one for my healer. I really recommend that you guys keybind this directly to your healer or DPS, just because you need those quick reflexes to roar a sacrifice in a smoke bomb or in a quick deep or in a certain situation where if you don't roar a sacrifice, it's basically game over. So definitely try to get out of the habit of mouseovering into raid frames if you're one of those people. We are going to move on to our freedom macros, which is better known as Master's Call. I like to have a mouseover one, a DPS one, a healer one, and one for myself. It's always good to not just have the mouseover one and then hover over it onto your raid frames to give your partners freedom. It's always that much faster, and it will actually benefit you more into the game if you actually have one keybound for each of your partners, so for your healer and your DPS. As you can see right here, I have four of them. So once again, one for myself, one for my healer, one for my DPS, and a mouseover one. Mouseover one is mostly just if I'm on RBGs or in 5s, just because I honestly don't have that many spots on my bars and keybinds in general. So just keep that in mind. It's always great to have it keybound straight to go to your target. Try to get out of the habit of mouseovering onto your raid frames to give them freedom. It would really help out in your arena gameplay. Alright, next up are three main damaging abilities: Kill Command, Blink Strike, and Glaive Toss. I like to start off this macro with a /start attack. Next line up is the aspect swapping one. Aspect of the Hawk, I put these into all of my damaging abilities, especially Arcane Shot, which you can see up here as well. I like to do all of these so I'm verified to be an aspect of the Hawk just to get that extra benefit from the attack power. So I obviously don't want an Arcane Shot in Fox or Kill Command in Fox, but it's not directed mostly to your attack power, the Kill Command and all that, but it does have some beneficial damage towards it, since most of your pet damage is based on mastery. But I always just like to keep this in there. It doesn't really hurt to have it in there because it's on a different GCDs, since they changed it back from aspects having no GCD anymore. Next, as you can see in these macros right here, especially in the Blink Strike one, as you can see, I like to add the Engineering Glove there, and I also like to have the Cancel /Aura Deterrence and Hand of Protection, just so I don't have to click it off with my mouse. I'll always know that my Blink Strike or Kill Command will take it off. Next up, our Burst macro, Rapid Fire. I like to keybind this with Bestial Wrath. You want to have Rapid Fire before the Bestial Wrath, just because your pet will benefit from the speed. Also, when you want to stampede with this, always try to rapid fire Bestial Wrath then stampede to get the most beneficial damage out of it. As you can see right here on this macro, I like to keybind Rabid and Blood Fury, especially if you're Orc. You just want to keybind that extra damage in there. Rabid isn't really a necessity, but if you do spec into Ferocity, it'll really do maximum damage towards the target. And Call of the Wild, again, this is just for if you're raiding or something like that, but definitely something to have. Also, you want to add that Dreadful Gladiator's Badge of Conquest that's currently out. It's just for that extra agility, and once again, this is basically your burst macro. Alright, we'll start off with Scary Beast, just a regular slash mouseover Scary Beast. I don't really like to have this keybound, and just to actually have the pet targeted, because there won't really be that many beasts for me to fear in a general arena. So when I ever see a druid in travel form or a shaman in ghost wolf, I like to just toss the Scare Beast in there. And as if you've seen my previous games, I'm actually pretty good at that, so I really recommend this having it mouse over. Next one is Readiness. I like it having 2 stop casting lines as well, and I don't have it in this one currently, but I do put anything that I haven't used before. So my Freedom, my Sonsing Shots, it'll use everything, and then Readiness, so I take full beneficial spells from that. The next one here is my Focus Strength Shot. Focus Strength Shot is very important, especially if you want to take any certain wings off a paladin, so it reduces the healing. You want to take away Unholy Frenzy, Sacrifice, just certain things like that will really help it out, especially taking away Fear Word if you're playing KFC, so your warrior can get that full fear off, and it'll just put your team that much up ahead on the game. Next up on our list, the concussive macros. I have a focus one and a mouseover one. The reason I have a focus one is if you are playing with a priest and the priest is having a hard time catching up to that person that he wants to fear, I'll just focus Conk Shot them so he can get there that much easier. You always want to help out your teammates as much as you can. The mouseover one is if either, I like to use it a lot against an RLS. I used it a lot back in Cataclysm, where I would always keep a rogue Conk Shotted while we were just training the lock. You want to keep him out of the game as much as possible, and you can even use it in situations in mob, any double melee team really, just to keep one off you and keep the ease off that. Especially if your secondary DPS on your team isn't using an AoE slow, especially like Piercing Howl or something like that. But I also have a regular Conk Shot, obviously, that isn't a macro, it's just the regular Conk Shot from your spellbook. The Disengage macro, I'm really only putting this in there for engineers out there. I'm not too sure about professions in Mr. Pandaria right now, but I think engineering still has that glove enchant that you can put on to give you that extra agility or the current highest stat that you have. If you do have that parachute, I would recommend putting it into that. You can do some sorts of nice tricks with the parachute in either Blaze Edge Arena or Dallin Arena to get some jukes going. As if you've seen in my previous videos, I really like to utilize that parachute just to mess around, kind of be a little Jack Sparrow in the arena and juke some people off just to relieve the pressure from your team. But yeah, just the basic Disengage macro, your slash cast Disengage, and then you put a slash use Dreadful Cape on there just to use that parachute. Next up are Feign Death and Deterrence macros. I'll put these together just because they're kind of similar. I do put 2 slash top casting lines onto them just because if you want a deterrence and you want to cancel that Cobra Shot just because you see a really big Chaos Wall coming to your face, and just to relieve that pressure off so you can actually avoid it and not deter at 2% with the Chaos Wall already hitting you, and then you'll die to dots. This is a great thing to have, slash top casting on both of them, just to guarantee that you will feign and that you will deterrence, and then just the slash cast Feign Death or deterrence at the bottom. Alright, here's the Cobra Shot stance switch macro. If you're currently in Aspect of the Hawk and you want to instantly switch to Aspect of the Fox while doing it manually without actually keybinding Aspect of the Fox, this is the macro right here that will turn you automatically into Aspect of the Fox, and it's on a separate GCD, so don't worry about it guys. They changed it a patch while back. So this is the macro right here, just a plain slash cast sequence, Aspect of the Fox null, and slash cast Cobra Shot. Alright, the Growl, better known as the Grounding Eater. As you can see on this macro, I like to keybind it to Shift C, just a personal preference, again, just whatever you're most comfortable with. As you can see right here, I also have a slash cast Cement Pet into it just because your pet's ability is on a separate GCD towards your own. So Growl is on your pet's ability bar. Mempet is just to put it in there, just to keep my pet healed up a bit. Nowadays, most teammates do like to keep that pet dotted, and if they see the opportunity when it's low, they'll just one-shot it. I also have a slash pet attack because for this Growl to get the grounding, it has to be in melee range of somebody, and it also has to be in range of the healer to get the grounding. Just keep that in mind. The kill shot macro, the beginnings, 2 stop casting lines, just to verify to cancel your Cobra, or your steady shot, whatever spec you're playing. I like to have the aspect swap line in there, which changes you into aspect of the hawk, just so you can do the most maximum damage. You don't want to kill a shot into aspect of the fox, you want to be in aspect of the hawk to really maximize that damage and get that extra attack power in there with the killer shots. I like to have 2 killer shots. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm kind of getting bugged, so I have to put 2 in there just to verify it. Alright, there you have it, guys. That's the macro guide I put together for you. I will be putting all these macros that were used in this video in the description below, so whenever you need them, just come by to this video and pop the description below. They will be right there for you. Once again, thank you very much for the support that you guys have been giving me throughout all these videos, and I'll just keep on growing, keep on posting videos. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Vans out.